So what's going on there?
Well, just checking my notes to make sure that nothing has changed. I get the sense nothing has changed. You know, I don't get the sense that the law has moved here in the last week. And you know, when Chris Johnson reported on the weekend and we talked on the weekend about Nylander's situation, I think that they had kind of gotten to a point where they were a few $100,000, and in my notes yesterday I wrote, I believe it's in the neighborhood of $300,000 apart, and I think it was early last week, and I don't get the sense it's changed since then. I freely admit that there are things that can happen without me knowing about it, but the sense I have is that that hasn't happened, and that sounds to me like we're getting ready for one more big attempt before Saturday at 5 p.m. Eastern. And then we'll see. And honestly, guys, I don't have a handicap of it at this point in time. I could see both scenarios happening. I could see, you know, Toronto coming in somewhere close to $7 million. I could see Nylander saying, nope, I'm going to sit out the year. The one thing I do believe, no matter what happens, is that this will be William Nylander's final season as a Toronto Maple Leafs. Whether he signs or whether he doesn't sign, this is going to be it.
Wow.
And even if he does sign, I think Toronto trades him by the draft at the latest.
I was saying the same thing. You weren't wowing me. Yesterday, I said the same thing. You didn't wow me. Freach says it. You got to wow.
Yeah, but in hindsight, you were right, though. Freach is making it interesting. So you can't repair it. That's what you're telling me. There's no way that.
One way or the other, I think this is over. But I would be surprised if he plays for Toronto next season.
Even if you sign him to where or in and around what he wanted, you might not be able to carry that salary moving forward when you sign the next two big guys. So you sign him, and then you look to move him. He gets what he wants, and then you get an asset back in return.
This, Tim, honestly, if I was in the Maple Leafs' shoes,
yeah,
I would look at what you think a number of these RFAs will be signing for next year. I mean, you've heard Nick talk about it. You've heard Chris talk about it. You've heard Berkey and Doug McLean talk about it. This is going to be a wild offseason, from Matthew Tkachuk to Braden Point to Patrick Laine to Austin Matthews to Mitch Marner. This is going to be a crazy, crazy year. And if I was Toronto and I was looking at this, I might give William Nylander a little bit more than I wanted to, because I can this year, knowing that it means that it might get him to sign, and we're going to trade him.
Right.
That's the question I would be asking around Toronto's front office right now. Do we go to 7 or 7.25 just for this year, knowing that a number of these other contracts are going to be rocketing past that, and it can be somebody else's situation next year?
Well, I mean, Freege, okay, so with that being said, Freege, it was on your podcast, We Can and We Will.
Yep.
So has this already been a failure for Kyle Dubas?
You know, first of all, I hate that in the sense that I don't want to penalize people for giving honest interviews.
Good
you know,
point.
we say, guys, we say that men and women in sports are afraid to say the truth, and then when they come out and they say something bold, we rip them for it. I hate that. I really hate that. Obviously, things changed a lot since that day that Kyle Dubas said that. You know, I wonder if everybody could do this all over again and we had a time machine, that maybe they would have tried to get everybody signed in the summer. Yeah. Maybe when Tavares signed, to get Matthews signed. You know, I wonder if that's the answer. But there's no question that this evolved much differently than the Maple Leafs ever thought it would. But like I said, I think we're in a spot. I believe at that time he said that, he believed it was going to happen.
Absolutely, yeah.
And now look where we are.
I mean, if Marner keeps at this pace, Marner will be probably $2 million a year more expensive, considering what he's doing right now. Listen,
I do believe that, Tim, as much as anything else, that the reason the Maple Leafs will not be able to afford William Nylander long term is Mitch Marner.